The Chinese Communist Party continued to infiltrate every corner of the United Kingdom, this time by selling dodgy Chinese equipment to the British police. Welcome back to the show. This is absolutely outrageous because this is no longer about trade with China. This isn't really about businesses or getting factories in China selling us clothes. It's not the same. I thought there was a line. I thought there was a boundary when it comes to the armed forces, when it comes to national security or the policing. In our country, why have we buying Chinese equipment that includes CCTV, actual camera equipment and drones from Chinese firms, from CCP-backed companies? And it's been going on for some time now. It's nothing new. It's simply been exposed. The details being exposed. So it's not really surprising. No one's going to be shocked. But it's still, unfortunately, shocking. This is the police in Britannia. Somehow, they made a decision a while ago to buy Chinese state-owned firmed equipment. They literally have been using their own CCTV in their detention camps in Xinjiang. That the whole situation with the Uyghurs and their own other citizens in China, all the protests in Shanghai and everything else, all the drones, all the cameras, all the digital surveillance, everything was backed by these sort of companies. And somehow we thought it's probably a good idea to use the same firms to get the equipment to use in the police force. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, guys. Even Professor Fraser Sampson, who's a commissioner for the retention and use of biometric material and surveillance camera commission, has been concerned about this. Now, of course, he's got years of experience in this sector, and he actually came out to talk about this issue recently, saying that I liken this situation to digital asbestos because these systems have been widely installed by a previous generation with proper motives, largely on the basis that they were cheap and got the job done. Now we know that they bring significant risk. We should probably stop installing any more until we understand the depth and breadth of those risks. And we should set up a timeline for assessment and, if appropriate, removal or replacement. Excuse me, just a quick point about this. Why are they surprised now that China is a risk? Is this something new? Have we been crazy over all these years? Clearly we've been proven right. We've been talking about this for years now. Donald Trump talked about China in 2012. Henry Kissinger, of all people, warned about this. It's nothing new. Since the 90s we knew. The moment, as I always say, the moment Bill Clinton started shaking hands with Chinese leaders, it did look a bit dodgy. Some were naive. Some actually believed the establishment when they started shaking hands with the CCP leaders. We knew what they were doing. Why did they trust them? And why did they take them until now? It makes you ask a lot of questions about who knew what and what sort of motive they both had, both sides. The Chinese state and, of course, the Western globalists. But that's for, another debate. But again, I'm not really convinced when it comes to this issue because drones are also interesting. This professor is also concerned about the police using Chinese-made drones for sensitive surveillance, missing persons inquiries, and crime operations. DJI Technology is a company which has been blacklisted in America. Even America blacklisted it. But the UK police have been using it. Great. Now, Professor Sampson said that if those police drones wouldn't be allowed to fly over sensitive government sites, are they okay being trusted with sensitive surveillance functions in local policing? I think those are the questions that we need to ask. Literally, you opened the door to the CCP agents, you did the red carpet, and you gave them a key to every area of our country, the financial system, the policing, the intelligence. So they didn't even need to go Soviet style, and a counter James Bond spy sort of thing, because you just open the door to them. They are literally working inside the system and nobody's surprised. Nobody is surprised. Nigel Farage had his reaction. Let's go to Nigel Farage and see what he had to say.
China's influence is everywhere. Now look, we thought we'd learnt the lesson. Boris Johnson, of course, wanted Huawei to have a big part of our 5G system. He was in the end persuaded that was not a good idea. But we learned today that many of our police forces are using Chinese surveillance equipment. All the companies that produce that stuff effectively work for the Chinese Communist Party. And I'm quite shocked, actually, to see that even our nuclear police force, those that look after our nuclear installations, even they are using Chinese surveillance equipment from firms linked to the state. We need to cut this link with China as quickly as we can. Sadly, too many in high office and high places in Britain are under the influence of China. I'm sure money has got nothing to do with it.
Oh, yes, money. It always goes back to money. And it is very concerning, as Nigel Farage said, about the nuclear police as well. So it's no longer just about local policing. When you look at the situation with the border force, when you look at the situation with the nuclear police, I'm not just talking about the China's influence, I'm just talking about the weakness in the system. So it is easily infiltrated when you allow the Chinese communist agents to just openly come into our establishments. It is what it is, unfortunately, but someday maybe we're going to see some sort of backlash. One day there will be hope. One day there will be optimism. One day we will stand up to this chaos. Let me know what you think. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.